What's up, my comic comrades? I hope each and every one of you are staying safe at home. Now, as crazy as it sounds, we haven't talked about the Mandarin very much on the channel, at least not in a very long time, which is crazy because he's easily one of the most well-known Iron Man villains, and he was also in Iron Man 3, well, kinda sorta. His appearance in that film was a debacle as he was portrayed as a fake. In fact, it got so much backlash that the MCU retconned it in their short film, All Hail the King. They're like, no, wait, he's real, he's not made up, this guy named Trevor was just impersonating him, and now the Mandarin is really pissed off. Speaking of, we're set to see the real Mandarin in the MCU pretty soon here in Shang-Chi. Anyway, all that to say that Mandarin is a dope villain, and he is gonna get his own History of episode here on the channel once we get closer to the Shang-Chi movie. But while you guys are waiting for the full-on History of Mandarin episode, today we're gonna talk about his 10 rings. More specifically, how they work and what the heck they are. First and foremost, the 10 rings of Mandarin, or Mandarin's rings, first appeared in Tales of Suspense issue 50 in February of 1964. They were created by Stan Lee and Don Heck, and as one would assume, Mandarin's rings are items of great power shaped in the form of rings. Mandarin took them from a Maculan alien spaceship he found in China, which is crazy because if you don't know, the Maculans are a race of gigantic dragon-like aliens from the planet Maklu 4. These aliens are thought to be responsible for the dragon myths in both ancient China and medieval England. So yes, what you're thinking is correct. This is the same race of aliens that Fin Fang Foom is from. Also, I love that Marvel explains the mythology of dragons on Earth with this race of aliens. So cool. But back to the 10 rings. Said rings were the power source for the Makluan spaceship. And we later find out that the rings hold the essence of ancient dead alien warriors. But of course, once Mandarin took the rings, he used them as weapons for his own evil schemes and plots. Much how like each of the Infinity Gems have their own powers, so does each of the 10 rings. The Mandarin also wears each ring on a particular finger. He doesn't just put them on at random. So let's get into what each ring's power is and which finger and hand he wears them on, starting with his right hand. On his right pinky, he wears the Black Light ring, aka the Nightbringer. And this black light should definitely not be confused with the same sort of black lights people use to look for substances on people's beds. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. As for Mandarin's Black Light ring, it creates areas of complete darkness anywhere he chooses, presumably using dark force energy. Then on his right ring finger, he wears the Disintegration Beam ring, aka Spectral. This ring does exactly what its name suggests. Disintegrates anything it hits, but unlike the other rings, it takes 20 minutes to recharge. On his right middle finger, he wears the Vortex Beam ring, aka Spin. This ring can create a vortex of air, much like the Flash does by waving his arms incredibly fast. Said vortex can be used offensively, defensively, or as a way of transportation. Moving on, Mandarin wears the Impact Beam ring, aka Influence, on his right index finger. Simply put, the ring shoots out a beam of extreme concussive force, knocking almost anything or anyone on its butt. And wrapping up his right hand, we have the Matter Rearranger ring, also known as Remaker, on his right thumb. Good job, guys. Go you. Like basically every ring he has, the name is self-explanatory, so this ring could rearrange and change the shape of solid matter. So the Mandarin can use this ring to change his appearance, turn a building into something it's not. He could even use it to transform air into poisonous gas. Now let's move on to the Mandarin's left hand. On his left pinky, he wears the Ice Blast ring, aka Zero. The ring could shoot immense rays of cold out of it. So cold, in fact, it could freeze a person into solid ice. The ring definitely gives Captain Cold's Cold Gun and Mr. Freeze's Freeze Gun a run for its money. On Mandarin's left ring finger, he wears the Mental Intensifier ring, aka the Liar. This ring increases the Mandarin's mental abilities, allowing him to control people, although it does have a limit of one person within 10 feet. But still, a crap ton of damage could be done if he's next to the right person. Next up, we have the Electroblast ring, aka Lightning, on his left middle finger. And by now you guys realize that the Mandarin has a ton of different superpowers because of these 10 rings. But moving on yet again, on his left index finger, we have the Flame Blast ring, aka Incandescence. Opposite of the Ice Blast ring, this ring could shoot immense flames. What I'm saying is Mandarin is Heatwave and Captain Cold in one. And last, but certainly not least, we have the 10th and final ring worn on his left thumb, which is the White Light ring, aka Demonic. The ring allows Mandarin to generate and manipulate various forms of electromagnetic energy, like shooting lasers, creating image projection, gravity fields, magnetic levitation, and much more. It seems to be the most versatile out of all 10 rings. Essentially, Mandarin's rings make him one of the more powerful villains in all of the Marvel universe. I tend to look at his rings as like the baby brothers to the Infinity Gems, since the rings give him extreme powers, but nowhere near on the level of the Infinity Gems. The Infinity Gems are literally a universal threat. Another cool thing about the Mandarin's 10 rings is that he has a psionic link to them, which means if someone else was to put these 10 rings on, it wouldn't work for that person unless the Mandarin approved it. The Mandarin could also control these rings from very long distances. He could also see out of one. And lastly, if the Mandarin uses these 10 rings for prolonged periods of time, his hands become green and scaly, much like the Maculans. But there you have it, friends, an explanation of what the 10 rings of Mandarin are. I really love talking about items and weapons from comic books. It's really fun to get into the lore of these things and see how and why they work. So if you guys have any suggestions on what weapons or items we should talk about, let us know in the comment section. And just like that, my comic comrades, that brings today's episode of Variant to a close. But remember, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, like our videos, and comment. It helps us out. But I'll see you guys next time when I talk about all things comics.